I wanted to just come and talk about something I finished last night. Many people have, I've seen it on Facebook, I've seen it on social media about the series The Chosen, Angel Studios, which I have loved everything I've watched from Angel Studios. But I'm going to be very honest because the chosen subject matter, the chosen, um, my assumption regarding the chosen over the probably a couple years now that I've seen it mentioned on social media was that, mm, I'll just be honest, I've come out of a very strong fundamental religious background with a couple of fundamental church religions under my belt. And so when I saw the topic and the subject matter, I was just thinking, yeah, it's going to be it's going to be pretty preachy. It's going to be pretty churchy. It's going to be pretty all those things that I haven't aligned with for several years now. Ever since I had what I call the love epiphany. That's another video, but really I had a supernatural experience that I can't to this day explain how it happened or what happened. I can tell you what happened, but I can tell you as a result of that, I couldn't belong to organized religion anymore. Now, a lot of my friends, a lot of my family are in organized religions, and I am not against organized religions. What I'm against, and what I've not even against, but what I don't resonate with anymore is dogma and doctrines that preach this is the only way, because that's what I feel like comes from a fear based, um, control based mindset or structure. So, back to my thoughts. Something, and I know it's the spirit. See, I've walked away from religion, but I've gotten stronger in my spirit to God. And that's what my message really is for people. It's that you can have, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, so to speak. Like, there is an energy of love. There is an energy that creates worlds without end. And it just because it doesn't fit into the doctrine of men or what the Bible, whatever version you're reading, says, doesn't mean, if you've not found your answers there, doesn't mean that everything with the all or nothing monster I talk about, it doesn't mean that it's all not there. It just means that there's pieces of it that maybe apply to you right now. But as I was watching, back to The Chosen, as I was watching these episodes, first of all, so well done, so well written. My gosh, it's just amazing. I loved the descriptions of the disciples and their humanness and their personalities and how they intermixed, and it just made it feel very, very realistic. Like, whether they know those things are true or not exactly, it doesn't matter. You give it a lot of space to develop in the storyline. And they did a great job. And the music, holy cow, the music's amazing. So there's so many things that are emotionally connecting me to the story. And my interpretation now of Jesus in my new kind of paradigm of not exactly or not at all what I was raised with, doesn't mean it was wrong. It just means I'm now at a place of understanding that's different. And that is that Jesus came to show us who we are. Not, and even the story, when I really was listening closely, I'm on a radar to hear, wait, is that a man-made structure, or is that really the truth? Is that true, or is that a line out of the Bible that we feel like because it's in the Bible it has to be true? I'm not of that ilk anymore. I believe that the Spirit, and the Bible even teaches, the word killeth, letters kill, but the Spirit gives life. So when you actually look at what's impacting you at the spirit level, and I was watching for that. It was like, wait, how do I feel about this spiritually? I felt so good. I felt so good with the paradigm that Jesus came to show us who we are. And he even says that in The Chosen several times. It's like, greater things are you going to do than me. He didn't come to be worshiped. He didn't come to say, bow down to me. In fact, he separated himself from the Father. He separated himself. So why, again, I don't want to get into doctrinal debates here, but the Trinity never felt right to me. I remember my mom trying to explain it to me one time. Well, it's a mystery. That's the pat answer to whatever I can't explain. It's a mystery. And do I believe it? There's mystery? Yes. So it's not like mystery is not an acceptable answer at all. But why I'm just watching for these things that in The Chosen that were going to speak to me, and I seriously expected to turn it off in episode 1, for sure by episode 2. Like I thought for sure there was going to be this thread of dogma, this thread of, and maybe there is. If you watch it, you're going to watch it through the eyes of whatever we see things as we are, not as they are. So you're going to watch everything through the filters that you have about what you already believe about, which is great. It's what I was doing. I just didn't think I'd last all 5 seasons because I thought there would be, and in the crucifixion scenes, or we haven't got to this crucifixion yet, but in the garden, in the Last Supper, in those last episodes, there were some times I went, okay. I don't have to agree. I don't live in agree, disagree. I just go, well, that's okay. Just take that for what it's worth. I don't have to believe every single word that everything says every time, like in life in general. I pick out what feels right to me right now, and my understanding will grow. My understanding has grown. How many of you think and believe something different today than you did even 5 years ago, right? Like I look back at the dogma of how I used to be about things and how I was like all or nothing and this is right and this is wrong and all that. I'm like, whoa. And I watch for that tendency in myself now, and I have it, but then I just go, well, you know what? Let's just let that go. Like I'm just going to be open, and I'm going to let the Spirit speak to me about it and not should myself to something. So there's been so many people, by the way, in the course of my work I do in the world with emotional monsters I talk them about in my book. But there's a lot of people who lost, when they left religion, they don't know how to find God again because God was so intertwined with the experiences they had in their religion, for the good, the bad, and the ugly. So that's another message I want to bring to the world is you can have God. You can have your faith. It's just going to look differently. It's going to feel differently. It's going to feel free. It's going to feel peace. It's going to have the fruits of the Spirit. It's not going to have the rigidity of shoulds and judgment and guilt, those things that have beat us up through the years. So, okay, back to The Chosen. I loved The Chosen. I really thought it was very well done. You know what else I really loved about it? From a Christian perspective, I don't have the background or knowledge about Jewish culture. And maybe if you're Jewish, Orthodox and religious Jew, if you watch The Chosen, you might go, well, that's not really true. That's not really how it works. I don't know. It's my first exposure to Jewish cultures of that time, of Jewish practices. And I loved that part. It was like, oh, well, that explains a lot. And then the whole response to how the Jesus element brought in a completely paradigm, mind-blowing, is completely, what's the word? Disruptive. Like it just disrupted all of what was the known religion of that time. And in ways I feel like that's what I've been doing in my disruption, is my disruption in me. And when I voice it to people, it can cause a disruption in others because wait, that's not it's the same pattern that's at play now in the world. If you watch The Chosen and you see how the Jewish, and not just Jewish, it was but primarily Jewish people were responding to this element called love and this element called, wait, we don't have to, have all leaven cleared out of, like the rules and there's rules today in Orthodox or in organized religion, the rules today that people live by and die by. If you look at it from that 30,000 foot level, it's the same idea that the Pharisees and the Sadducees and the Jewish people had back then. Nothing's really changed. It's just dressed up a little bit different with different wording, and it's more acceptable now for the Christian world because now the Christians get to be that equivalent of what the Jewish people were then, like the dogma, the rigidity. And wait, it's the same disruption that's being offered to maybe you today. It's like, well, if you're happy where you are and that fills your soul and you find peace, then stay there. That's your GPS, right? But if you don't, and if you can't, and if you need something different and you need to have a faith that isn't based in rules and rigidity and the letter, then you can come find out more about what I'm doing in the world. It's one of the biggest things. I have reinterpreted the scripture that I grew up with all my life. I put it to music. I can sing you probably 50 scriptures right now that I put to music because I love music, and you can learn it faster with singing, right? I can do all that. And these scriptures now, from the paradigm I'm living in of a newly interpreted God, a newly interpreted what we're doing here, all of that is, behold, all things have changed, become new. I've got some answers for you that might help if you need that piece. But just from the Chosen standpoint, I highly recommend it, no matter where you are in your spiritual walk of any kind. I highly recommend The Chosen. And if you want to know more about my work, just go to kimfisk.com. You can go find out what spiritual/emotional monster is actually driving you in the driver's seat right now and what to do about it, because that's what I'm here for in the world, I feel like, and I'm going to keep talking about it because it's what really is my passion in life. So anyway, thanks for listening. Love ya.